All right, the next segment I want to discuss my five favorite transfers this season in college football. Now, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this show, they might not be the top five that everybody's paying attention to. They might, but these are the five that I've really been excited about, paying attention. Some have some bias based on my alma mater, but whatever, that's fine. But there's still going to be big impacts on their teams that they're going to this season. Number one, Sam Hartman, Notre Dame. When you think about him at quarterback for Wake Forest last year, I immediately go, well, really just Wake Forest in his whole career, but I immediately go to the game last season against Clemson. What he did in that game was just unbelievable. And I think even though they lost that game, cemented him as like a college football icon, a college football legend. Now, as a grad transfer, goes over to the Fighting Irish and could really cement himself on getting Marcus Freeman to that next step. There's all this talk about Marcus Freeman and what happened last season as he started off so shaky for Notre Dame. You bring in a guy like Sam Hartman. Can he get to that double-digit win total? Can he get Notre Dame back into that Brian Kelly era, who, as much as there was some love-hate relationship for Brian Kelly, he got them to national championships. He got them to multiple 10-win-plus seasons. Marcus Freeman has to do that soon, I believe. I think he's going to have a longer leash than most. I do think that's going to happen. However, I think that a guy like Sam Hartman, especially when you say goodbye to Drew Pine over Arizona State, you let Buckner leave to Alabama, he's the guy this season, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. Notre Dame is going to be a very interesting team this year. I think they have a very tough schedule. Ohio State's on the slate. USC's on the slate, Clemson's on the slate. Can they get to that double win total? If they can get to 10 plus wins, then this team is going to be, right now they're on that nice uphill. What's going on with Marcus Freeman? What's going to happen if they can get to that 10 wins? Look out for them, not only this season, but even when Sam Hartman leaves from 2024 and beyond. So I'm looking for him to platform the Fighting Irish back to where we are used to seeing Notre Dame, to be completely honest. Number two, and this is a really exciting one for me as well, and I'm not sure how many people are following this one. I think this is a very underrated transfer, and that is Carson Steele, running back, now over at UCLA, coming over from the MAC, Ball State. What a fun running back. I mean, this guy, elusive, very good. He has the potential to be NFL caliber, one of the top running backs taken in the draft, and him moving from MAC to Power 5 and into the Pac-12 is going to really solidify that as long as he stays healthy and has a great season. Putting him in a Chip Kelly offense, I'm really looking forward to that one with Carson Steele. Also heard some things in some past and a couple articles that him having to go to UCLA, he had to let his pet alligator stay home. So this is a guy that is a huge character as well. So hoping that we see, now he's in this LA media, right? Hopefully that we see some really fun interviews from Carson Steele. Hopefully the social media team has some fun with that one as well. But Carson Steele is going to be a steal, if you will, for UCLA and a great running back. Maybe one of the top five in the country once it's all said and done this season. Stay on the offense. Really, all these are offensive players. It's hard for me not to be excited about some of these most powerful offenses this year. And this one, I'll put this one in the middle because it's a biased pick by far, but it's still a really exciting pick, and that's Allie Jennings going to Virginia Tech. Now, Allie Jennings was with Old Dominion. You're going to hear this. If you haven't heard this on my shows before, I graduated from Old Dominion. Yes, they might not be very good this year, and one of the reasons is because they just lost this guy, Allie Jennings. In 2021, he was leading the nation in receiving yards, the entire nation, not just G5, not just the Conference USA or Sun Belt. He was leading the entire nation. Richmond, Virginia guy, now goes from Norfolk, Virginia up to Blacksburg. He's going to be fantastic in an offense that needs a lot of help. Which is crazy because Old Dominion did upset Virginia Tech last season. Allie Jennings had one of those great catches really to win the game. So now he's going to Virginia Tech. I've already heard that he's getting a lot of smack talk every time he drops a pass in practice of why couldn't you drop those passes in the game to lose that game for Old Dominion there. But they do play again week 1. ODU and Virginia Tech. This time Jennings is going to be on the other side for the Hokies. I'm looking forward to him to being a fantastic player in the league this year. And I do believe that he's going to be a top talent in the NFL. We're going to see him probably at the worst a day 2 pick in the NFL, and I think he's going to really make an impact once he gets to the professional league. So looking forward to Allie Jennings. Hopefully has a healthy season, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but go Hokies. Dante Cephas, number 4 here. That is another wide receiver on the list, going from G5 to Power 5, heading over from Kent State to Penn State. And he was one of the most explosive players in all of the G5 last year. Talk about not Allie Jennings or some of the other wide receivers across the American or Conference USA. In the MAC here, Cephas was just outstanding. He's joining the Nittany Lions after recording 130 catches and almost 2,000 yards and 12 touchdowns in the past 2 seasons for Kent State, 1,984 yards at Kent State in the last 2 years. Kent State, a team that hasn't been very good, could still rely on a guy like Dante Cephas. I mean, James Franklin, head coach for Penn State, is going to have his hands full with the talent that this roster in Penn State has. It could be the best roster that Penn State has, and Cephas is definitely one of those reasons for it. There's a lot of talk. Will Penn State be in competition with Ohio State and Michigan? Potentially find themselves in the college football playoffs or the Big Ten championship at the very least? If they do, it's because a guy like Dante Cephas really steps up and has a huge season for the Nittany Lions. And last here, I feel like we got to talk about it. And I feel like it's going to be a nice segue to the next segment we have as well. But Shedeur Sanders from Colorado. How can he not be at least the smallest amount excited about what Deion Sanders is doing in Boulder? I mean, transferring, bringing in 60, 70 plus players, completely flipping that roster, something that we've never seen on the Power 5 level, and really have never seen on any level in college football. And he's doing that not only at the college football level, but the Power 5 level. We saw what he did in Jackson State. It's clear that he's a program builder. Now he's going to be able to do that at a Power 5 level in Colorado, who will be shifting over to the Big 12 in 2024. But this season, what will we get out of Colorado? Last season, they were completely terrible. So really, 2 wins and more is an improvement. I mean, a successful season for Colorado is probably 4-8. If you get to a bowl game, get to 6-6, it's monumental, right? So Shedeur Sanders, there's a lot of talk about how athletic he is. He was great at Jackson State. What can he do now at that Power 5 level and not in the FCS? Are we going to see that huge talent gap? The gap that everybody likes to talk about, that huge gap. There's always that talk between G5 and Power 5. Now we're going FCS to Power 5 in this conversation. So where does Shedeur Sanders sit? We're going to find out right away as they play TCU week 1. This is a game that you wouldn't think about being a really exciting game if you looked at the schedule at the beginning of last year. TCU was ranked last in the Big 12. Obviously, they went to the national championship game, and Colorado was terrible last season. And now you get Deion Sanders. So you get a reigning runner-up for the national championship against probably the most brand exciting team in Colorado week 1. I'm looking forward to that one.